Hey everybody, this is the Utah Outcasts. We are a very much uncensored and unabashedly atheist show coming at you from the great and spacious state of Utah via podcast and YouTube. We strive to bring you some news you missed, have some fun with real audio, and oh so much more every week. For each topic we find funny, infuriating, or just plain newsworthy, we make sure to consume each with as much skepticism and as much as reverence as legally allowed by our church-ran legislature. I'm X, and I'm your host. This is episode number 74. And before we get to the show proper, let's meet our panelists for the evening and find out what they've been up to. So in no particular order, help me welcome in Kyle Steenblake and Felicia Entwistle. Welcome, guys. It's good to have you back.
Hey.
Felicia, what have you been up to this week?
Oh, dying inside just a little bit.
For the people that are getting the unedited show, we probably just went off for about 20 minutes about politics that thankfully you won't have to hear here because it's not a lot of rehash, but it's stuff you're probably tired of hearing about.
I'm not okay.
Nobody's okay. This fucking nation is not okay. So it's going to be it's going to be a very fucking interesting next couple of years. So, Kyle, what about you? What have you been up to?
Well, it was a day. How's
that white male privilege treating you? I'm sorry. Last one. I'm sorry.
Pretty damn good. I would definitely sign up for it again.
Yeah. I like having cheat codes.
Treating me pretty well. I mean,
now let's put it out there.
I think it's
even though we have it in easy mode, we still have shit that goes bad in our life. Every white cishet male has, problems just like everybody else does. The thing is, we just have a leg up on a lot of other shit.
Oh yeah. Again, no, I'm
back. It's fine.
That's not helping, Felicia. Do not interrupt. No, I'm just kidding. The nation has shown that we have power over every one of you women, so you just sit there and you be quiet.
I'm drinking more. I'm just going to drink more.
So when we finally start making money off of the show, we're going to pay you 30% less.
I designed this motherfucking logo. I have proof of that. You think I don't know copyright law? I've been an artist since I was 14. I know copyright law. Come at me. It doesn't matter. The courts will choose you anyway. It's fine. Oh, God, wine.
Like, I have text here that says that we can use it. I'm just kidding. Anyway, so Kyle, Felicia, it's been a fun week, huh? How was Tuesday for you guys? I don't know about you, but I watched the 6-hour Cog Dis live broadcast, and they're like, "What the fuck is happening? What the fuck, America? What is happening?"
Yeah, I got about 3/4 of the way through the Florida fiasco, and I went, I'm taking a Xanax and I'm going to bed, cause nope.
And you woke up with the fucking Krampus came and visited and delivered unto us a giant steaming shit pile into the White House.
Well,
President Trump.
Okay, shut the fuck up.
President. Gonna grab you by the pussy.
I don't know if anyone's picked up on this. I don't know if our show is or if our audience has picked up on this, but I've been working for Reinholtz for a while, and he was running for governor of Utah, and he lost.
How I didn't catch the totals on that one. How bad?
He got about 30%.
Well,
he won Salt Lake County.
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something.
Have him run for mayor. Have him boot out Ben McAdams.
Oh, he can't be Ben McAdams. He's got too much name recognition.
Yeah, Ben's an easy name to know.
Too
bad. I liked Mike quite a bit.
He is awesome. He's a great guy. So that night, my boss got uber toasty, really drunk. Because I mean, things had started going downhill by then. Yeah. And then our guy conceded. And I mean, we knew it was coming by then. We knew it. We've known for a few weeks now, which sucked. But so he conceded, and we hugged, and then I got my boss home, and he was gone. He was just gone, and he's like, "Is this really happening, you guys?" And at that point, It was like 266 electoral votes for Trump. Oh, God.
Yeah, at that point, it was like,
So we got home, and my roommate Kevin and his girlfriend were still up, and we got back, and I cried.
I could have just used a hug by the time I got home from work that night. But instead, I decided to put myself in front of the microphone. So I'm sure you've heard Felicia and our rants about this whole thing that we posted on YouTube. If not, you should go check it out.
Yeah.
Because, man.
I'm not going to rant about it. I'm going to rant about something else.
Yay. We're going to have rants later on in the show.
Yeah.
So let's see. As far as for me, I caught a lot of hell from, you know how when I became friends with Shalice Blythe from the Satanic Temple here in Utah?
Yeah.
And people started talking shit behind my back to my wife.
Yeah.
Apparently they did the same thing, finding out because I tell my kids about Donald Trump grabbing women by the privates and stuff like that. And I post a lot of stuff on my personal wall about a lot of this stuff. And so, no, I think, I'm teaching my kids, the truth. Apparently that's offending people in my family, on my wife's side of the family. They're offended. They're offended by my kids learning truth.
Like objective video proof.
Yeah, he is on the video saying you could do whatever you want. You can grab him by the pussy. Like, yeah.
I just start saying, I don't even wait.
I don't even wait. For some reason, they got mad about that and how I was telling them about how he's a bully because he is a bully.
Yeah.
And about a lot of the stuff. So I caught a lot of shit from that on my side of the family. And so I've really learned in the last couple of days how to set up it's something I knew to do, but it's something I didn't want to do. But, when you post shit on your own personal wall, hey, you can exclude certain people. I've had to set up a couple of those because people just can't handle, their reality distortion field being wiggled a little bit. They can't handle that shit.
If it's inappropriate to discuss with children, then maybe they shouldn't be president. Just a thought.
Yeah.
Just name me one fucking thing in Hillary's emails that kids aren't going to give a fuck about the emails. And they're not going to care about the DNC.
The spirit dinner. Spirit dinner. Google that one, everybody. That wasn't. Did you not catch that one, Felicia?
Was that the one with the Catholics?
No, this is the one where it was the satanic ritual where they eat like bodily fluids or something like that.
Oh God, because
God. one of the people in the email from Mike Podesta's list was an artist that made something called Spirit Dinner. It was like a painting or an art installation where it had those bodily fluids, and so people were convinced that this was a satanic ritual happening. And I'm like, I happen to know quite a few Satanists, and we don't do rituals.
Art doesn't have to be real. Okay, Christians?
Yes.
Twilight didn't happen. Okay.
Harry Potter didn't happen.
Harry Potter is not real. And
don't tell my kids. They love it. It's been a good weekend. I've been balancing out, all of the terrible shit that's been going on with a bunch of really positive stories about terrible fucking people ruling the nation and stuff like that. So Voldemort is now my Trump. So or vice versa. I can't remember how it goes. Anyway, let's go ahead and get done with that, and let's talk about what's going on in the community. Yeah. The show is brought to you courtesy of fans who support the show financially via Patreon, all of which have hearts bigger than my own genitalia. So that means it's fucking huge. I'm kidding. I'm a grower, not a shower. These wonderful patrons are Robert Jones, Dan Ellis, Luis Cruz, Jeff Linville, and our newcomer, Janet Uter.
Hey, Janet.
We got a new one.
Hey.
So thanks to all these fine examples of humanity, more people starting to tune in, and our show keeps getting better
Janet.
and better. I love you. So thank you so much. We do need to give a slight bit extra love to our superfan, Danny Lopez, who has such a throbbing heart-on for the show that it has its own gravitational pull. Just go outside and look at that huge moon right now. That's because of him. 2 hands there, lady. So if you want to help out the Utah Outcasts but don't have the budget, a quick review or subscribe on whatever app that you're catching us on will surely help out. In return, you'll get a shout out, as we've done here, especially if we get a 5-star review on iTunes, a subscriber on YouTube, or any other follow on our social media, all of which you can find us as Utah Outcasts. So we do have a great new review from iTunes, a 5-star review from a guy called Deocidal Tendencies, who says,
nice.
He says, excellent chesticles and passable moobs. Yes, indeed.
Aw.
Can't see on the video. You can't see on the podcast, but I am wiggling them. Not by choice, because I'm moving, it wiggles. No, I'm just kidding.
I could probably, I'm not going to do it because it'll mess with the audio, but I could support the microphone between my boobs.
Betwixt. Yes, indeed.
Yes, betwixt them.
So we also have a couple of new followers on Twitter. Yeah. We have Megan Enlow, Kamala Chambers, Joelle Fairborn, Root Woman 123, Corey Johnston, and Brainstorm Podcast. Thank you all so very much. I'm very happy to see more representation from the ladies. This show was dangerously close to becoming a sausage party kind of audience, so I'm happy to see that.
Wait, if you would not mind, would you spell Corey for me?
Corey is Cory. He is the leader of the show that I guested on this past weekend.
Okay.
From the Brainstorm Podcast. You guys should go check that out, because I was on his show from about 7:30 to 11:30, so it's good 3 or 4 hours worth of good audio that he's going to be putting out this week, and I had a lot of fun, because when you don't have to host and wrangle the cats, you get to be dangerous. It's fun. You get to be the velociraptor. You don't have to be the human.
You get to say, where does this train track go?
Clever girl. Yes, indeed. Let's see. So that's it for... Wait, actually, we do have one more thing. We have a new YouTube subscribe from a good friend of mine, Tiffany Hudson. So thanks for that. We love you, Tiffany.
Hey, Tiffany.
And
it's about time.
I know, right? All these people that I know look at YouTube like, come on, man, please. So now that we got that out of the way, let's get to our first segment of the week. It's time for News You Missed, where we bring you headlines you might have missed out on or we feel that deserved a lot more attention than they got. So here we go. The first one we have up here is I have to equivocate this real quick, because it's Sam Harris we're talking about here real quick.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of people that really fucking hate Sam Harris. I'm not going to go into the reasons why. I know a lot of people in the SJW crowd really fucking hate Sam Harris because of some stuff he said in the past, but I still enjoy listening to the guy talk. And I don't listen to his podcast. I've read a couple of his books. I really like the way he's an orator and a lot of things. And so he had you don't pay attention to people through their Twitter. I mean, if you really want to know a person, yeah, look at their Twitter and Facebook and stuff like that. But if you want to see just the persona of who it is that they're not who they're projecting, fuck, it's hard to say this. Like, if you follow anybody hard enough, you're gonna fucking hate them, because you're gonna find something you don't like about them.
Yeah.
But when they still have intelligent stuff, like Richard Dawkins, I love his books, but I followed him on Twitter for all of like 2 weeks, and I'm like, nope, I can't stand this guy.
Oh God, no. As a person, I can't stand him. He's a brilliant biologist, but
yeah, exactly. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that Hitch said that I'm like, I don't agree with that.
Agreed. Yeah, no, there's a lot of things Hitch said where I'm like he wrote this whole thing about why women can't be funny, and then Tina Fey and like a bunch of really, truly brilliant comedians got together and they were like, see, we're funny. He's like, sorry, women just aren't funny. And it's like, fuck you.
Piece of shit, Hitch. God damn it. So
like,
anyway.
he's not. He's like evolutionary. It's like, you're not an evolutionary biologist. You're a brilliant investigative journalist. Shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up. So anyway, Sam Harris said, check out the irony. He said, the irony, 81% of evangelicals just elected our first atheist president with Trump, And so it's true that exit polling found that 81% of evangelical Christians, this comes from the Pathos blog, Friendly Atheist, 81% of evangelical Christians supported Donald Trump. But he takes issue with the claim that Trump is an atheist, not because he is one himself and he'd hate for Trump to be lumped in with our tribe, But because
I would bet money he doesn't believe in God. Like, I bet money.
He this is him and Meta here saying that I think that atheism requires more thought than Trump gives it. Which kind of sounds almost like a no true Scotsman for atheism that him and
almost. That's really close. Yeah.
So he says,
I mean, if somebody is raised, I'm just a hypothetical.
Yeah.
If somebody is raised outside of the concepts of religion and never considers the possibility of a God, like they just the thought doesn't even enter their head, then they're an atheist.
Yeah.
They are without they are without theism.
Yeah.
And I mean people that we have examples of this in the real world. People who are raised in isolated communities that only believe in Buddhism, which has no theism. Like
unless you get to the wacky kind of Buddhism.
Yeah. But I mean, you're still an atheist. I mean, it's just
It's like people that follow the Satanic Temple, like myself. Like, it is an atheistic religion.
Right.
You know?
Right.
I am an atheist. I don't believe in a god or gods, but you still have deeply held beliefs, and a lot of stuff. And the 7 tenets are fucking awesome. I don't care what anybody says. Shalise, we got to have you on the show again. But anyway, Sam Harris said this, and Hemet says, "Don't confuse apathy with atheism," which I think is
that's
quaint,
appropriate.
but at the same time, that's a nice little soundbite, because I know quite a few people that are apatheists.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but they're still atheists. Like, they don't claim the title, but like by all definition, they are an atheist. So, okay, no.
So Hemet says here, at the very least, atheism requires a bit of thought. It requires a disbelief in God's existence, and that's kind of splitting hairs. That's him saying that you need to make a what the hell is it?
A conscious decision to not believe in God?
Not so much that, but it has to be like something that when you would require evidence for his truth, his claim of something. If you have a disbelief in something, that means that you are. I think that's a negative to whatever the belief is. Disbelief to a belief instead of saying no, I don't believe that. I mean, I guess that could be considered disbelief, but. He needs to choose his words a little more carefully here, I think.
I mean, yeah, you can be an atheist with a disbelief in God, but you can also be an atheist with
no belief,
a non-belief.
No,
just a non-existent belief. Like you take the neutral.
And so this comes into Hemet's issue here. I didn't mean to tear apart Hemet's thing here, but as I'm reading into it, like I made these notes last night and I didn't read through the whole thing, so I apologize to anybody that might be like, "The fuck is this for news?" This is atheist news, guys. So it's the same reason I don't buy into the argument that infants are atheists. Just because they've never thought about God doesn't mean that they actively don't believe in one. If they have no reason to believe in something, that means that they are atheists,
Right. So infants are atheist. Cats are atheistic.
Unless you are actively believing in a god or gods, you are an atheist. That is the very hard set line that we got from the David Silverman book.
It's with theism or without theism. That's the only answer to the question. Exactly. If you are without theism, which can require zero thought, you're an atheist because it's the A part of it. You are without it.
So he says he even equivocates here. He's like, even if you don't buy my argument here, that's fine. Trump's atheism would say no more about atheists in general than Barack Obama's Christianity speaks for the evangelicals who rejected him by a 4-1 margin.
I just don't understand why we even need to make the point.
Why quibble? But it's somebody trying to take somebody's tweet, and I think it's funny as shit that he said that evangelicals just voted for an atheist president. That may be, but if you guys have followed anything that's happened with Trump since the transition team has been set up and everything. He said that he's planning on splitting his time from the White House and Trump Tower.
I did follow. Yeah, I saw that.
That was the dumbest fucking thing that I've read through the whole, and nobody cares. Nobody gives a shit about it. I'm like, he can't do that. Oh, he will. No, you can't do that.
He can. He fucking can. Because there's not actually a law, X.
I know.
It's just every single other person, including Andrew Jackson,
all of them.
They have all said, like, this is my fucking life. This is what I do. And he's like, fuck it. Oh, Jesus Christ, USC.
Knowing personally how the federal bureaucracy works, getting him set up in Trump Tower is going to be costly as fuck.
Yeah, it will.
Private email server, anyone?
It's so much more than that. Oh, Jesus Christ, it's so much more than that.
Yeah, it's that fucking,
Okay, anyway, Hemet says here that, of course, evangelicals claiming that he found God over the course of the campaign. We heard Duck Dynasty guys say that, and Ted Cruz apparently finally came around to sucking the Trump cock anyway. You don't have to believe them, but on paper, Trump is an evangelical with a group of evangelical advisors who spent the better part of last year pandering to evangelicals. So he got that vote because they did. And I have purposely stayed off Twitter since the election because I honestly can't stomach seeing people like Brian Fisher and these guys and Michelle Bachmann and everybody. It was really, really fucking hard to find stuff tonight for Fun with Real Audio. where it wasn't these right-wing evangelical assholes talking about Trump. Trump. God damn it, it's so hard. They are so rock hard for Trump right now. And it's only because he's an empty shell and they could fill it up with Mike Pence, and who's just evangelical as fuck. I hate this man so goddamn much. So we also have the next news item that we have here, and that is a New Hampshire town erects a 10 Commandments monument despite warning from city council members.
Oh, good for them.
Because they think with this president, probably it's going to be floated past, and no one's really going to care about it. So in 1958, the Fraternal Order of Eagles put up a 10 Commandments monument just outside the Somersworth County Hall in New Hampshire, a battleground state. God damn you, New Hampshire. It stayed there without incident for decades. It was illegal, no doubt, but no one ever filed a lawsuit. And then in this past August, someone vandalized it, which I don't agree with. Don't vandalize shit, people. It does nothing for your cause unless you have a good reason for it.
Was it actual vandalism, or did somebody just accidentally hit it with their car?
Well, it could be, because this thing's like in the middle of an island in this road.
Yeah.
It could be some drunk yokel that drove over it with his pickup truck or something. But
yeah, I'd be more willing to believe it was somebody who wound up hitting it with their car, and they're just calling it vandalism.
So the city officials had to decide what they were going to do with it. Should they replace it or just let it go?
Let it go. Let it go. Of course, that's not what they're going to do. Of course, it's not.
I'm going to be watching Frozen a lot over the next 2 years. So they chose to replace it, unfortunately. And to make sure it was compliant with the law, the officials surrounded it with a sign outlining the history, role, and purpose of the monument, and a couple of flagpoles. See? Totally not a promotion of Christianity, because we have a flagpole next to it, even though it's arguably more of a promotion of Christianity now than ever before. Nice editorial there, Emmett. So 2 members of the city council understood how irrational the new proposal was. 2 councilors who voted against the measure were Jessica Paradis and Jennifer Soldati. Soldati suggested that adding a marker and flags to the island would actually increase the sense of endorsement.
There's a smart one. There's your smart one.
I find that this notion, this is her quote, I find that this notion that you could somehow put a document next to it and neutralize it has not been held up by the courts, except with the September 11th monument with the giant fucking cross.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah. There are other reasons for that, but that one's still kind of bullshit.
We do have people in this world that actually seem to give a shit, because she said democracy is not about majority rule. Kind of is.
Well, actually, that's democracy, yes, but there are forms of democracy.
It is the rights of the minority being protected over the tyranny of the majority. I understand the sentimentality. I get it, but I am a staunch believer in our Constitution, and I do believe that we are in violation, she says, which is great. Awesome.
Accurate. Okay, accurate, but that's not what democracy is.
No. So
ours reform democracy.
Yeah. So these people are in the minority because the proposal passed and the monument went back up this past Sunday. In discussing whether the monument should be put back, Somersworth Mayor Dana Hilliard, I don't know if it's a guy or a girl because I happen to know Guy Danas. Says that he already been in conversation with the city manager and legal counsel about the constitutional questions. Hilliard said at the time that they had determined a plaque acknowledging the historical significance could mitigate the constitutional question. No,
you can't.
It's like saying you could talk about Moses being a founding father because, he's in a really old book. Doesn't work that way, you fucking idiots.
That's fine.
So the cost to reinstall the stone is being offset by no donations. So it's not taking federal money, but it's taking up city property. So get the fuck out of there. So they need a new lawyer, honestly. Really. Because I can just imagine Andrew Seidel already starting to draft a letter about this thing from the Freedom from Religion Foundation.
Jesus, I know two lawyers who could draft why this is not okay. Like in 2 minutes.
Yeah, because it's basic constitutional law.
They're not even constitutional scholars. Like, this one's real easy.
Just blew my ears out. You're like right into the mic. You okay?
Sorry, I'm used to, I've done the last couple here online, and I have to be back here for this one.
Okay, so the last one that we have for you guys' news this week. Sorry, it's going to be a little bit light because I didn't want to go too in depth with the Trump stuff, and god damn it was hard. But I have to talk about this one. I really do. There was one I brought up in our group chat that I was going to talk about, but I'm like, no, not tonight. So in a report, we have Trump talking about who he's going to be picking for his cabinet.
Oh, yes, okay.
The purpose of the cabinet is to appoint people who don't necessarily agree with you, to create balanced and differing viewpoints to come to a cohesive best. It's fine. No, it's fine.
Except he picked Ben Carson.
He picked Ben fucking Carson.
And
Let's have
what position?
But for what job?
What job would Ben
job?
Carson be best suited for? You know, Surgeon General? I can kind of see that. Maybe. You know, head slavery defender? No, that wouldn't work either. Look it up, guys. He does defend slavery, saying it was good because black people were finally able to meet Jesus.
Oh my God. I'm
you,
just
Ben
going to
Carson.
throw things.
Okay. So he has been tapped to become Secretary of Education.
I'm a throw shit.
Ow!
Sorry.
A man willing to deny scientific truth to preserve religious superstition is on his way to being the next Secretary of Education. This comes from the progressive secular humanist blog at Patheos. On Wednesday, BuzzFeed News published a list of names that the president-elect Donald Trump's transition team has put together for cabinet positions. On that list was Ben Carson for Secretary of Education. For the record, this is from the article, Carson is not qualified for the position. Gee, do you think? He has a well-documented history of substituting religious superstition for scientific truth. He rejects evolution, climate change, despite all the overwhelming scientific evidence to both of those. How does he reject evolution as a doctor? How is a biology person? You have to know fucking biology to do this shit.
Yeah, but he doesn't.
The same brain surgery he does. The same brain surgery he does to people, he could do to apes, and he could do to every other thing that has a brain because it functions the same fucking way.
Well, that's not actually true. He couldn't do it to octopuses.
No, well, octopuses are aliens anyway. You know.
Look, I've known a lot of people who are very, very good framers, but couldn't tell you the first thing about structural engineering.
Accurate.
Yeah.
They don't know why
jet fuel
all the pieces of wood need to go where they do. They just know that's where they go, and they're very good at it.
Here's where it's really different, because Ben Carson definitely had these lessons. He's just actively chose to ignore them for the parts that he can physically move around.
Right.
Like, he's actively chosen to just be like, no, fuck it.
Let's not forget, this is actually on video. Ryan Duffy shared a video with us earlier from the Godless Revolution about Ben Carson believing, and we knew this from the campaign, you guys have heard all this before, believes that the pyramids were grain storage silos.
Yeah.
They weren't, though.
But the most amazing thing about his statement, and he said it on multiple occasions, that the pyramids were built by Joseph and the amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Look, it really just goes to show you can become a surgeon and still be an idiot.
How does that
You
song
can
go?
be president
It's a stupid
and
fucking
an idiot.
song.
You can become a president and still be a colossal moron.
Shut your fucking face, Uncle Fucker.
How does that song go?
Okay, so
I don't know. It's a really stupid song.
in the past, Carson compared abortion to slavery, saying that rape victims seeking abortions are perverted, while declaring that he would love to see Roe versus Wade overturned and wants all abortion outlawed, even in cases of rape or incest. Carson was once ridiculed after suggesting that if Noah could build an ark, he could be president. That's amazing. And as a GOP presidential candidate in 2016, as we knew, Carson said that he would use the Department of Education to censor liberal speech on college campuses if elected president. He would use the Department of Education to censor First Amendment rights.
What does he mean, liberal speech? Like, does he mean like gays exist?
Whatever he thinks is,
because in Utah,
quote unquote liberal speech.
Teachers aren't allowed to talk about gays existing.
Yeah.
What about like women liking sex too. Oh wait, nope, nobody's supposed to like
only
sex.
Only in cases of procreation.
But boys will be boys because they're supposed to just spread their seed.
I wish boys would be more like boys if this was like ancient Greece. That's where I really would have wish it would become like.
What, like where sexuality isn't binary?
Yeah, how about that? That'd be great.
That'd be neat.
Why not? Let's get rid of this Christian ideology, please. Can we please just move past all this shit?
Yeah, seriously, it's so stupid.
And I'm looking at these appointments, and the only thing I can think is, my God, the ACLU and the Freedom from Religion Foundation. These guys are going to be so busy.
They're going to be rich too.
So busy.
No, they're not. Oh, no, they're not.
No, because they're going to win a lot of these cases because they're not going to reach Supreme Court. They're not going to reach the highest court. And so if they did reach it, we'd still have... Right now, they only need to fill Scalia's. So that's going to make a conservative court. And yes, I get that. But the thing is, if it's a common sense kind of fucking judgment, it'll be a lot easier. Especially if they get some derp fucking asshole like Mike Lee to fill in. Could you guys fucking imagine Mike Lee being
I don't even know. Trump is going to be president. I don't even know. I don't even know anymore.
And then you have all the crazy fuckers that think that somehow the Electoral College is going to go and vote in Hillary on the 19th of December. You guys keep going ahead and believing that. That's great. I'm glad that you're holding out hope. I'm cynical. That's not going to happen.
Nothing even makes sense anymore, you guys.
Anyway, let's leave the people on a happier note. Anybody? What else can we say? Ben Carson is a fucking idiot. He left sponges in someone's head. Trump is currently facing rape charges. I mean, he could be brought up on that.
Well, no. I thought that case was dismissed because she withdrew. She withdrew the complaint due to death threats.
No, she withdrew the public conference that she was going to have due to death threats.
Okay.
The case is still going to be happening.
The case is still on. Oh, okay, good.
As Trump University is still going to be brought up. So but emails.
Of course, yeah, email.
And I would say, like, probably, like, just the most offensive email to me, and I'm quoting this word for word right now. Should we be bad? To whom Aberdeen, okay? This is from Hillary Clinton. To whom Aberdeen, okay? Should we be bad? Should we get a creme brulee? Let's split a creme brulee. Do you know how much sugar is in a creme brulee?
All I know is that's code for like dirty sex that they were having.
Oh, of course, yeah. It's code. Yeah, it's all code.
All gay code. I can't remember what movie that's from. Fuck, I can't remember.
No, have you guys heard the actual conspiracy theory that it is actually code?
Yeah.
For a kind of sex?
Yeah.
And part of me goes, how did a 4chan joke become president? How did dank memes elect this guy? The fuck, guys? You guys are dangerous as shit behind the keyboard, 4chan. You need to stop.
What?
You need to stop. Use your powers for good, not for lulls, man. Come on.
Okay, I'm just gonna say this real fast. Okay, So a lot of people have been like, you guys, apparently we need to just shut up and listen to the white people in the Midwest and in Middle America. I mean, that's true. The manufacturing jobs are going away, and there is abject poverty there, and we haven't been listening to them. And America is about coming together and listening to each other, and they made their point, so now it's time we listen to them. And I went through point by point today, and you know why we haven't been listening to them? Because they kicked us out of their homes. And they called us evil, and they called us demons. They called LGBTQ disgusting and sick and perverted. They called feminism the end of masculinity.
You're emasculating men. How dare you?
Yep. They've called women murderers for
them babies. Babies.
There are some who call me a murderer every month because I got that IUD. Like.
Pew, 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 sperm, die, sperm. Pew, pew, pew.
Because it's very, very rare. Like, it's it could happen, but then an egg just doesn't implant on the uterus because the IUD. But they actually can't prove that it's the IUD causing it to not implant, because it turns out lots of fertilized eggs just don't implant. They just don't.
Over half.
Yeah, just it happens. In fact, a pregnancy only occurs 1 in every 100 of having sex.
Except in my case, it's 1 out of 1.
Yeah, sorry.
Fuck me. And my
but you had
potent
sex,
sperm.
you had sex like 99 times after that didn't have kids, so you know. But
Felicia,
I mean, so sorry.
No, you're wrong.
But
wrong.
They call us murderers. They say that we're emasculating men, that we should just be getting husbands. They've thrown us out. They've said you are not welcome here. They've demonized Mexican immigrants, including people who were just brought here as kids. Not a choice they had in it. They've called Black people lazy, and I'm not even going into the worst of what they've called them, because it's gotten a lot worse. They have completely shut us out of the conversation. And then when we go back to them and say, justify your position, God damn it, they just say, it's my opinion, it's my beliefs. They use their Christianity to say that we are lesser. And then they call themselves the silent majority because they give us the fucking silent treatment. So the rest of the world moved the fuck on without them. They didn't talk to us. They shut us out. They told us we weren't enough and that we weren't welcome. So the rest of us went, okay, so we're going to do this ourselves. We're going to try to make this world better for everyone. We are? Oh, okay, let's move forward. Yep. And they got left behind, and not to jobs going overseas, because that's the vast majority of manufacturing jobs have been lost to technology.
Automation. Yeah.
Yeah.
We could solve the jobs problem if we educated more people.
Wasn't the whole point of like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory the fact that his dad lost his job because a machine came in to screw the caps on the toothpaste thing?
Yeah.
It's been going on for a long fucking time, people.
Yes, we've answered that with innovation and infrastructure.
And also, guess what? You have to fix the robots that break, and you have to run the power lines to make the fucking robots powered. There's other jobs.
There's other jobs. We have a failing infrastructure, but no, Republicans won't fund that shit,
Flint,
will they?
Flint? Hey, Flint. How about Flint? Let's talk about Flint, Michigan. Let's go there. So I wasn't going to bring it up, but I want to bring it up only because, sorry, let you finish your point in 1 second, but we do have to bring up only because it's on the Utah Outcasts Facebook page, and it went into a lot of comments that this one douchebag motherfucker by the name of Jacob Boyce, who, in us talking about Trump appointing, what the hell is his name? Steve Bannon, Mr. Alt-right news source guy.
This is the guy you wouldn't let me post my nudie pic for.
I'm sorry, Felicia.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's funny. It would have been funny.
It would have been funny. But the thing is, Steve Bannon has been tapped to become the chief policy advisor for Trump, which sends off red fucking alert signals in my brain, because
it should, yeah.
Unlike the right, I actually know who the fuck half these people are. And so anyway, we had this asshole by the name of Jacob Boyce who came onto our Facebook wall, obviously not knowing who we were or what we do or what we talk about on here. He said, liberal propaganda. And like everybody's like, wait, what? Because Steve Bannon is a wife-beating anti-Semite. And I'm comfortable saying that because he's on the record for being anti-Semitic. And he is a wife-beater. And the story of him beating his wife goes as follows. His wife woke him up one night because she made too much noise, so he hit her. What was making the noise? Her feeding the baby. Asshole of the year. So yeah, he's going to become the fucking chief policy advisor. And so I asked this dude, he's like, I don't see how him being a wife-beating anti-Semite is, liberal propaganda. He's like, oh, let's see what happens before judging. And I'm tired of the right. Oh, the right's already saying this shit all the time. Like, oh, why don't you give Trump a chance? Why don't you give these people a chance? Why are you prejudging people?
I'm not prejudging. I'm post-judging.
Yeah, we have their records. We have their agendas.
They said it and have done all these things. And why on earth? Okay, I was married to an abuser who told me he was working on his controlling behavior. Guess what happened?
We don't need to wait and see.
He did it. Yeah, we know what they're gonna do. We know. They said it. They said it.
Yeah.
Every one of these pieces of human excrement are going to knock the country back a decade, or if not more.
I'm not rooting for Trump to be a bad president. I have good fucking evidence to believe he's going to be a bad president. You see, this is
right.
I have no reason to be hopeful.
Secretary of State for Newt Gingrich. Newt fucking Gingrich is Secretary of State. What the?
You mean the one who pressed charges against Bill Clinton having an affair? That Newt Gingrich?
Oh, how about Reince Priebus being what the fuck is he? Chief of Staff. Reince Priebus.
Yeah.
Reince Priebus. You said it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Rank Priebus. Yeah. God fucking damn it, this guy. Right? So anyway, this Jacob Boyce guy, he comes onto the Facebook wall and he's like, "Oh, this is still liberal propaganda." I'm like, And then he says something that threw me off guard. I'm like, he said, "Sounds like God is working in your life. God bless you." And I'm like, "Thanks for the Christian Sieg Heil."
That's where I needed to do a nudie pick. That's where you wouldn't let me.
Let me retort. Hail Satan. May God continue to bless you.
There wouldn't have been an email nipple.
Nah, that's okay. I'll continue taking credit for all of my hard work. God's not blessing me in anything. This takes a lot of fucking work. Is he keeping the electricity on? No, because the sun could come by and knock that out at any moment. Oh, your Jesus is impotent. Your God is impotent. He is not real, so I don't hate something that does not exist. And that's going to be a good time for us to cut the news out. We're going to jump to our next segment, which is You Oughta Know, and we're going to be buffoonery. We're going to have some fun with this one because we're going to tell you how to move to Canada or any other nation for that regard. Anyway, Utah Outcasts. This is Kyle X and Felicia. We'll be right back. All right, so now it's time for You Oughta Know, and if you find listeners out there are looking to escape the next 2, maybe 4 years of the right-wing establishment wreaking havoc in the United States, we thought we'd put together a quick little primer about what it takes to expat somewhere else. That stands for expatriate, where, you stop being an American. You move to some other country and say, I live here now. So first off, what you'll want to do is find a country that you think would make a good fit for you. This could be a lot more daunting than you initially might realize.
Canada is very, very cold.
Yeah.
Yes, it's actually very difficult to find a country that you might like to go to.
Especially coming there as an American, because we are...
France has been kind of racist lately.
What's the best term for Americans? Oh, yeah, arrogant. We're arrogant as fuck, guys. And let's put it this way. Language is important. Hopefully you'll move to a country where English is spoken. But
you got Canada, England, Australia, and New Zealand.
Okay. Yeah. So English is the lingua franca right now everybody wants to learn it because we make a lot of fucking money over here. We send a lot of money every other place. So businesses are always trying to get our money.
You can get by in Germany, but the taxes are super duper high.
Yeah, you know what? I don't so much mind taxes as long as I'm taken care of as a citizen. But that's me and my socialist liberal fucking agenda. So
there is such a thing as too many taxes and not enough benefits. That's a thing.
Yeah, but what country is it recently that set up a national a bare minimum like they pay you a stipend just to be a citizen of the country, like where you will live and I think it was Norway,
Sweden or Norway. Switzerland or one of those countries. Yeah.
So anyway, but I say language is important, but let's not forget cuisine. Let's not forget this. So if you move to Iceland or Denmark, you can kiss being able to get a good chili relleno or any semblance of a chimichanga in the UK. You can just kiss that.
There are no tacos.
Thyme. Yeah, there's no tacos. You get thyme, pepper, and garlic. That's it.
So, just for you guys to know, Mexican food is non-existent in most European countries.
Mexican.
Right. And you probably wouldn't recognize it in Mexico.
No. So this is goddamn important. They might have a taco. I don't think Taco Bell goes international. I honestly don't.
There's
maybe Canada.
There's some in Canada.
Maybe Canada. Maybe Mexico. How dare you go to Mexico with that farce of a food?
So let's talk great cuisine. Top of my head,
Spain.
France and Italy are going to be just two of the most incredible countries for cuisine.
I'd go to Spain or Portugal for the seafood.
Also great.
Yeah.
The UK is getting better.
It is.
But-
Thanks to chefs like Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah.
Who have been
But-
watching a lot of Kitchen Nightmares. Sorry, I just
France
had to
is
throw
dealing
that.
with a fair amount of racism right now, and
France has some issues.
and Spain is right next to a bunch of ISIS-controlled countries,
Mm-hmm.
and
They're
You know,
also not
it's-
doing so well economically.
that's true. And
Which means your dollar would be stretched quite well.
Italy is still intensely rural in many parts. Like their internet
Yeah.
access is shoddy in many parts of the
and
country.
Italy is highly racist and highly
Oh,
corrupt.
yeah.
Very
So-
racist.
Oh,
very
yeah, the government
Catholic.
is intensely oh yeah, and then the Catholicism. I
Ugh.
mean, you're still living in a theocracy there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I spoke to a guy that lived in Italy when he had a little bit of a tour with the military, and he was talking about how group prayer in a lot of offices there was still a thing, and
Oh yeah,
like the
Mhm.
priests would come to the office and they would offer blessings and stuff like that in recompense. Slide me $5, slide me $3.50, and I'll make sure that everything goes good this week. So yeah, finding your country destination is hugely important if you're one of those people that wants to expat. Now, for a lot of
Right.
you guys, this is of course easily fixed. The cuisine by moving south of the border. Which, to be honest, I don't see why more people aren't looking in that direction. Mexico is fucking beautiful.
Yeah,
it has
Parts,
many,
parts of it are.
and in many places, it's a lot like Southern Cali,
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
Which
yeah,
is-
and
which is a lot different than you'd find in Canada. Because I've been up to British Columbia, fucking gorgeous there because it's essentially Seattle.
yeah, I've
Yeah.
been there too. But I mean, you go to certain parts of Mexico and it's run by the cartels, literally.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a real problem there.
And so
Yeah,
for
there
me, my
can
money
be
would
a cartel
set on-
problem.
My money would be set on Canada, like I said, in the Pacific Northwest because I like that area. Only problem there is
Yeah.
I would think I'd be escaping Mormonism.
No.
The FLDS is kind of prevalent in British Columbia, from what I understand.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it would be Canada or Germany, only because I know what to expect, and ich spreche kleine Deutsch. I can get around okay.
Yeah, they all speak English there, but the
With
taxes are really,
amazing
really
accents.
high.
Oh, except don't go to Germany if you're racist against Middle Eastern people, because unlike America, they've decided to let a lot of fucking Syrian refugees in, and for a lot of people, they're like,
They
I don't
have.
want these
Mhm.
brown
And they
skinned
haven't been
people
having
here.
the problems France has had.
No, they haven't had a whole lot of problem.
No.
They haven't been having the problems France has had, but France has been radicalizing a lot of people there due to the racism. So, but Germany does have its problems with like Utah style ignorant racism, where like
Mhm.
they don't realize they're being racist, but it's
Yeah.
still super.
So Canada essentially is America
sad.
light with a lot more liberalism. And Germany, I've lived there before, so I fucking loved it when I lived there as a kid. But keep in mind, this was pre-Berlin Wall coming down, so I'm sure
Mhm.
shit has changed quite a bit since I was there. It was still a cool fucking country to live in when I was a kid.
Right.
so-
Australia has everything poisonous, including mammals.
Nope, I will not go
Yes.
there because of their
They do.
spiders.
And no,
Fuck
yeah.
your spiders.
Mhm. Yeah.
Fuck your little tiny, like,
Uh,
2-inch octopus that could kill you in 20 seconds with the neurotoxin it has in it. No! Nope.
Japan is
Mhm.
radioactive.
Well, I'd go to Japan because that's where anime
Well,
lives. They make anime real there. And apparently their birth rate's going down, so I will go there and I will make more babies for them. I'm just kidding. I'm married. I'm being funny. Shut up. Oh, fuck. Kevin Meaney died. Sorry, I forgot to tell you guys that. Did anybody else catch that?
shit. Yes.
Oh, that was sad. Sorry. Complete non sequitur there. Blueberry territory, only because I just know that's not right.
That
Or
guy.
the I don't care.
bad.
I don't care. My jokes don't go over well. I don't care. And he was in Japan when he did that. Anyway, never mind. Fuck blueberries. Okay, so second step. Contacting their government and letting them know that you're interested in expatting from the U.S. Most countries
Mhm.
have certain criteria before you can immigrate there with a visa, such as, proficiency with their language,
Right.
What?
previous
You might not
employment.
qualify.
I tried the
Mhm.
Canada one the other night just for shits and giggles. I wanted to see if I could do something like that. And apparently, if you're moving to their country, you have to provide a test showing your proficiency in either English or French. It doesn't matter if you're a native speaker. You have to have a test to let them know how proficient you are.
We don't even do that here. Nope. For good reason, guys. For good reason.
Yeah.
We don't have an official language of this country. Yeah, we don't need one. No, the founding fathers actually worked this in, that if the major language changed, that was fine.
Yeah, Esperanto. We're going there. I tell you what, right now we're going that way. They also check your previous employment. If you're a felon, because who wants to let felons in? Because, most countries don't. Because if you're going to become a citizen that is expatting from one country, they want you to be A, a hard worker, B, a subject that's going to be good for the country. And since they're letting you in, they're the ones that get to decide this, Or you could just sneak across the border, I'm sure, like a lot of people do anyway. So
yeah.
So
wherever you look, just remember, they don't have to let you in.
Yeah.
Go and overstay your visa.
Donald Trump wants to keep the dirty Mexican drug mules out of the States. What makes you think that best Korea is going to want you? And of course, I'm talking.
Seriously, what do you have to offer them?
Yeah, North Korea doesn't want you Americans. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, seriously, what do you are you a PhD? Are you going to help deal with global warming issues? Are you an engineer that can build a seawall? Like, what do you bring to the fucking country?
Can you make Krabby Patties, and are they good?
Yeah.
So think to yourself, will I really need this when you get to your destination? Oh, wait, sorry, I jumped ahead there. Third step, and this is conditional whether you've received approval for moving or not. For a no, you can't leave. You get to suck it up and hope that whatever privilege you have will be just fine when the pogroms begin. For a yes, that's great. Start packing all of your shit up. However, keep in mind that many countries don't run on the same grid as we do in the U.S., so your plug-in for your Sibian probably won't work with the other outlets there.
Boo! That's necessary to my survival.
Well, it might work. It would run at half for a Sibian. I think it would just run at half speed. You just have to crank it up quite a bit to get it to go back to normal. No, wait. If they run at 220,
I can already run it at full speed.
If they run it at 220, then you could dial it back to half speed, and it would be normal all the way cranked up speed. I think.
Until I blow it up.
Yes.
Yeah. You'd probably have to replace all your electronics.
Yeah. Kids, don't Google Sibian at work. Don't do it at work. Do it in your own private time. Something your wife might love, or if you're a lady, you might like it. I mean, sure, it might work for guys. I don't know. I've never looked into it. But
I would not be adverse to giving one a try, because you never know.
It might be pretty awesome.
It could be. That could be a fun time.
I don't know. I'm just not going to go into it.
So think to yourself when you're moving, will I really need this when you get to your destination? If you don't think you can use the thing that you packed, well, throw that shit away. You're probably bringing in all sorts of native fauna that's going to wreck their local ecological system. You bring in one weird errant spider, next thing you know, shit goes off the rails. So
let's talk about pets real fast, since we're talking about native fauna.
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably
do you love your
bring
pets?
your pet.
Well, in many countries you can.
It just goes in quarantine for a long time.
Anywhere from like a month to 6 months. This is quarantine, you guys. This means your pet does not get proper interaction. This is intensely traumatizing for your pet. Do you understand this?
I want to play the suicidal tendencies all of a sudden.
And you better have them fully fucking vaccinated, and you better have proof of that. Did the vet that you got them vaccinated at close down? Shit out of luck. Leave him here, you piece of shit.
I'm not crazy. You're the one that's crazy. Don't forget, you'll need a passport prior to leaving.
That takes a long time.
Yeah, passports are
that can take some time.
In the fucking ass, people.
Yeah.
They take months and money.
Yeah, better not tell them why you want the passport. Because if you try to tell them that you're moving to another country, they will deny it.
Because they're not stupid. America wants to keep its citizens.
Right.
So take only what you need. Get ready to be ripped off in your new homeland, because there are people there just waiting to take advantage of the new people coming in from another country.
Torture your pet.
Yep. Be ready to be vilified in your new land. because you're not. I mean, it probably doesn't happen in Canada, but there's a lot of places, especially America, where you come from some other foreign country, they're like, oh, you fucking Americans coming here. What the hell's wrong with this? Which also, good luck moving into Japan. If you think you're going to move to Japan,
yeah, you're probably not.
You want to talk about people that want to keep racial purity? That's one country where they
France. No, this is literally true. France actually has laws about keeping their language pure.
Yeah.
They're generally unenforceable, but people will treat you like shit if you can't speak French. They're fine with tourists. Like, they'll give tourists a break, but if you're like trying to get a job there and you can't speak perfect French,
fuck you.
Get the fuck out.
Yep. So let's see. Settle in, which is going to be kind of fun because, like I said, people are going to be ready to take advantage of you. So your rent's probably going to be higher because you're not a current citizen of that country. So, but while you're there, and I'm speaking mainly in the case of Canada and pretty much every other first world nation where this kind of thing is happening. Enjoy your free healthcare, your cheap college, and the lower likelihood of you being shot by a fellow citizen.
Those are good upsides, yes.
And finally, take me with you. So that's been our primer on how to expat from the United States. Hopefully you like that. I would go longer, but honestly.
Well, we could go longer. But let's ask this question.
Yeah.
Because I know we've all done it.
Mm-hmm.
What countries have you looked at?
Honestly, for me, Canada, because I have friends up there. I could see myself doing it. I could do it.
You guys, cheese, France. I've also looked at New Zealand.
Be pretty.
Yeah.
I would go live in Middle Earth.
They're a little weird there, though. Everybody I've ever met from New Zealand is a really kind of weird person.
I agree. They're unique. It's kind of like Alaskans.
All you need to do is watch Bad Taste and realize that New Zealand is not all right. Or okay, for we did bring up Middle Earth there just for a second. So Peter Jackson. A lot of people don't pay attention to his early works, and I'm going a bit way off topic here, but we're talking about New Zealand. Go back and look at his early shit, and you realize that New Zealand is off.
It's a special place.
Meet the Feebles. Just meet the Feebles.
Oh, it's a terrible, terrible film.
I love that.
It's so bad.
Yeah.
It's magical.
What's the one where the guy dives down with a chainsaw and cuts the dude in half? Oh, I can't remember. It's the zombie movie. I can't remember what it is. Bad Taste is the one with the aliens that eat humans.
Well, it was when it was released in the U.S. It was called Dead Alive.
There you go.
But originally it was released as Brain Dead.
Yeah, guys, you have homework. Go watch Peter Jackson's old catalog. What about you, Kyle?
And
what countries have you picked?
I looked closely at the UK.
Yeah, I can see the UK
because
I'd go to the ancestral homeland in Scotland.
Yeah, Scotland was one I looked at.
Like a lot of religious oppression in Scotland and Ireland.
There is, yes. I kind of.
I just remember Trainspotting. Shite to be Irish, shite to be Scottish.
Yeah.
To be fair, they the fact, skelkies.
Yeah. The fact that they have an official state religion is a little, but the fact that they kind of don't give a fuck about it is an upside.
For sure. Okay, that's it for our You Oughta Know segment. We're going to go ahead and jump into Fun with Real Audio here in a second, but we're going to take a quick little break. We'll be back shortly. This is Utah Outcasts. This is Kyle, Felicia, and X. See you guys in 1 second. And now it's time for Fun with Real Audio. And we're not going to beat around the bush. We're going to jump right into it with the first and the second. Yes, we are only doing 3 this week because I couldn't find a 4th because everything was about Trump. And I'm tired of talking about Trump this week. I want to have some fun. But we have Pat Robertson with this first clip here talking about black families were better off in the 1930s. And his guest on the show is a person of color. I don't know the guy's name, and honestly, I'm not going to research it because I don't give a shit, because he's talking horrible stuff about people of his own race. So fuck you, dude. Here we go.
So all of this stuff right now, where we are playing the blame game, where we are killing ourselves, where we are the world is looking at Black America and they're saying, what are these people doing to themselves? We don't get it. Because we should be missionaries, we're still a mission field.
Well, your compatriots must hate your guts, if I can use those terms for you saying what you say.
Yes.
They must hate your guts. Is that okay to say? How about I say, why are you being such an uppity nigger? That's not funny.
He's being...
Wow.
Wow, he's at... I know Pat Robertson.
No.
He said worse than that in the past, because
No.
Pat Robertson is 90 fucking years old, so he was around when Kaiser Wilhelm was alive, I bet.
Yeah, I'm not offended by you saying that, X, and it's not...
Oh, no, I don't give a fuck.
I do find the word nigger disgusting and deeply troubling, but I don't feel like calling it the N-word is useful.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's not, because
the vibe I got
because
from
everyone knows what we're saying. Like, it's white guilt that makes us call it the N-word. Like,
well,
we're still saying it.
I just find it interesting that he's like, "Is it okay to say that to you?" It's like, Pat, you're talking just another normal guy. You don't have to beat around the bush about a lot of stuff. It's like, they must hate your guts. Is that okay to say? Is that okay? Am I okay to say that?
Can I say that?
I'm guilty as fuck as a white guy because I used to call all of your friends the N-word.
But that's how like real racists get around it, right? Because like they're
it is.
They're checking all the time.
Yeah.
Instead
is
of
this
being,
okay?
Trying to actively practice empathy and awareness,
right?
And yes, you know what? White people, we're gonna mess up and we're gonna say stupid shit
sometimes.
Oh
yeah, we do that all the time.
One time I was riding in the car with a black man who was driving, and a cop got behind us and he got real nervous. And I was not aware of the violence that cops have had against black people historically. I did know that they were targeted, but I didn't know like the violence, right?
Check your privilege, Felicia.
And I said,
sorry.
Yeah. Yep.
Check.
No, really.
Check mark.
And I said, oh, he saw you're black in Utah, and that's why he got behind you. And he didn't think that was funny.
Yeah, because
no, yeah. That was a little too true.
That was a little too real. Yeah. And like I felt so bad. I was like, "Oh, dude, that was not racist." He's like, "It wasn't racist."
Yeah,
but
you not understanding. And I went, "Okay, I got to walk myself back on this one." Where other white people were like, "Come on, man, you got to take a joke. It's too sensitive. I'm not a racist. I'm not a racist."
How dare you how dare you get slightly offended at something?
And so that's where
it's obviously your problem, not mine.
Right. And so that's where you can tell the real racist is when they're like trying to be cool, right?
Yeah.
Like, is that okay for me to say? It's like, how about you just try your best here and treat them like people? And if you hurt their feelings or say something shitty, so amazing. I said a shitty thing. Shitty thing.
Yeah. See, your big mistake was not going. It was that okay to say? I'm okay. I'm okay to say that, right? Cool.
What would how bad would he have felt if I was like, that was cool for me?
Lost audio there for a second. Hopefully
so it's okay for me.
Okay, sorry.
It's okay. I can call you black, right? That's fine. That's cool, right?
See, that's what racists do. That's what racists do.
Sorry, we lost you guys on audio there for a second, so it cut out for a second. Sorry. I heard
that was a great bit.
I heard that's okay if I call you that. That's okay, right? That's what the last little bit I heard. So we're gonna jump back into Pat Robertson and let him finish this shit sandwich that we're all having to take a bite of. I'm sorry, technical difficulties, people. Here we go.
Well, I'm telling the truth, and I'm telling them the truth, and we can't die. I've been going to several cities, Pat, including Harlem, New York, where the death rate is higher than the birth rate, and it's in depopulation. Numbers of the cities, blacks are dying faster than they're born.
Citation needed, sir. Citation fucking needed.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. They might be talking about abortions, as part of the death rate.
Oh.
But no, there are countries where, not including abortions, where there are people dying off faster than they're being born.
Japan.
Right.
That's not. I mean, that's going to cause some economic instability for a while, but it will level out. That's kind of a lot of things that educated countries and regions are doing because they're afraid of overpopulation. Like, that's an actual conscious decision a lot of people are making.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But then
India has
to
no
try.
fucks given. China is tried.
Yeah.
They tried.
They tried.
The wrong way, though, because they hadn't addressed how much they hate women there first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But then trying to port that to neighborhoods and cities that have some very long-standing issues with poverty and long-standing issues with very poor racial issues. That doesn't just because Harlem has a lower birth rate than they do people getting killed.
I was going to say, are we accounting for like brutality here?
Yeah,
and lack of economic resources, so people turn to crime. Like, are we talking about the systemic deaths, or are we just talking old age deaths? Because there's a fucking difference.
Yeah, because I can pretty much promise you, black people are not killing other black people because they're black.
Yeah,
accurate.
That's not a starter for this thing. So
no.
All right, let's see what else he has to say.
To be like in the 30s, the blacks were self-sustaining. They had wonderful families. They had home ownership. They were in business.
No, they
what happened over those years?
I believe
this is when we make
when your belief
this is when we made fun of them for
messaging takes you outside of what the potential of God is in you, so that you look for something outside of you. Then what happens is you start depending on those sources, and those sources are not your source.
What the shit?
Okay.
Fuck? What?
Yeah,
he added a lot of God mumbo jumbo in there, everything, but
it didn't make any sense to me.
Look, man,
but there's a whole lot of citation needed there.
Put yourself as a black American in 1930, and tell me how much better off you were back then.
Well, one,
weren't. Where you actually had lynching, you had shanty towns, you had
Hoovervilles.
Yeah, Hooverville. You know what you did have in the 1930s, and the instances of racial tensions and violence was a bit lower.
Actually, the 1930s was an interesting progressive time.
Right. But that was mostly because everybody had a lot of other shit to worry about.
Well, in the 1930s, we started to see the rise of female equality. Yeah. If you ever guys, what is it? Is it My Girl Friday? Oh, great movie. Old film. And it was made just before World War II, and it was about it's a romantic comedy, and it was about a woman who was such a great journalist, an investigative journalist, that all of her male colleagues were begging her not to retire and go start a family in the country because she was sick of the rat race, right? Mm-hmm. And she ends up not retiring. Like, it's great. But we started to see some progress. We started to see Black culture creating its own economies. They started having thriving communities. And then we bombed one of them, literally bombed one of their, like a whole block, like a whole community destroyed. Because if Blacks think they're okay, white men in suits has to just slap them down as hard as possible. But there was some interesting things going on in the 1930s, just pre-World War I, just barely pre-World War I. We were recovering from the Great Depression. There was infrastructure. There was some interesting things happening, and we were on a path to progressivism. Like, that really was happening.
Before I get angry letters here, Felicia is well aware that the 1930s were not when World War I happened. I don't want it sounded like that, but that's not when World War I happened. It happened.
No. It was post World War.
But I'm just saying, I'm making sure that people understand that before I get a stupid email like, "Oh, you fucking libtards don't know in world." No, we're well aware. We're well aware. Thank you very much.
One, like specifically, I know the. Oh,
sorry.
I don't know.
Sorry. The way I heard it, I was like, "Uh-oh, someone's gonna say something."
I see how the way I word it could be misconstrued that way, but no, I was talking about. I was talking about the culture that had emerged after. Yes,
right
from the era of World War I and the Great Depression, the culture that had started a path to progressivism and more socialistic policies.
Mm-hmm.
And then World War II happened and everything went to shit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tuskegee Airmen and all the other bullshit.
There was some shit.
Mm-hmm. And Jesse Owens and all that fun stuff where Hitler's like, I'm not gonna let that darkie in my country. Yeah, but they had it so much better than the 1930s. Pat, you remember the 1930s, don't you?
They definitely didn't. There was some good strides being made, but that does not mean better.
I'm pretty sure we can empirically say they did not. Nobody had it better in the 1930s, but it was most definitely not better for Black Americans in the 1930s.
Remember the rant a couple of weeks ago about how I'm like the Wayback Machine, where everybody's like, "Don't you remember? It was so much easier."
No.
It was still a very real problem in the 1930s. Like viruses that we deal with vaccines now. Vaccinate your fucking kids.
How about insulin? Insulin wasn't a thing back then either. So,
how about just fucking ibuprofen? No, in the 1930s, we were still dosing kids with cocaine.
Can we go back to the 30s?
Man, now that you mention that, I love YouTubing the Flintstones cigarette commercials. I still love looking at those movies. I'm like, this is a touchstone for the generation that they were in.
And that was way after the 1930s.
That was way after the 1930s.
I think I'm just gonna start bringing that kind of stuff up when people talk about the good old days. Like, weed was legal. You could get a prescription for cocaine and heroin. Fuck.
You could kill somebody and get away with it.
A salesman who literally poisoned kids with belladonna. Oh wait, that happened just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
So people don't fuck with Felicia. She knows what she's talking about.
I like my history.
All right, we're jumping to the next one. Next up, we have David Barton. And I'm not drunk or anything. I slurred there for some reason. Who wants to mislead his audience on parables and voter turnout? So here we go.
Come back to this thing of, am I going to vote? You don't have a right to vote. You have a responsibility to vote. That's
wrong. Immediately out of the gate, wrong.
Two things are not mutually exclusive. You don't have a responsibility to vote. You have a duty.
Yeah.
As a citizen, you have a duty to do it. But it's also a right.
And considering how many people didn't turn up to vote this time, I'm wondering how much voter suppression happened, as well as, just people being
suppression, intimidation, and blasé.
See my rant.
We got rants.
I specified the difference between people who couldn't, and I do include people who felt intimidated. Like, I didn't say that in the rant, but that's my personal opinion. Like if you felt like you couldn't do it, like I don't include you in it. Yep. But people who didn't.
And go listen to me on Brainstorm because I said some amazing shit on like 4 beers. I was like, I found myself as I'm saying it, I'm like, this is fucking brilliant. As most drunk people do, but
I have some of my best ideas under wine. Hey,
yes, indeed. So here we go, David Barton. Anyway, he's wrong already. Wrong. But we already knew David Barton was wrong. He's always fucking wrong because 100% voter turnout. No, that doesn't happen. Never has ever happened. God damn it. Only in like dictatorships does 100% voter turnout happen. Because you vote or you die. Voter die, motherfucker, voter die. The Congress. All right.
Not an option. You do not get to choose.
You do. You honestly do, guys.
You do.
It's selfish. Well, I don't like anybody. I'm not going to vote. Oh, that's selfishness. It's not your vote. It's God's vote. He didn't give it to you to say.
No.
Matter of fact, we have 2 parables, one in Matthew 20.
Okay, before he gets into parables and everything. I was kind of with him about the whole selfishness thing there for a minute.
I agree. I do agree. Like, I don't like either of them. Shut the fuck up. Grown-ups have to make hard decisions. I was with it there.
Yeah.
Until that's not your vote.
Even not voting is still making a choice. You're just saying I'm going to go ahead and let everybody else choose.
Yeah.
But that's
like Colin Kaepernick did.
Yeah.
What the shit, Colin?
Yeah, what the shit was that,
bro?
Well, I can understand it's a form of protest, and also he is in California, where probably his vote doesn't count because it went like immediately, like before 1% of precincts voted in, it was like California has been decided for Hillary Clinton. I was like, well, of fucking course it was.
And that number keeps continuing to grow in her favor there, by the way. Like,
man, she's got more than 1% more than Trump in the popular vote. That is just heart-wrenching. She got gored. It's terrible. Anyway,
she got gored worse than gore.
Yeah. So we have parables and everything. So here we go. Let's slog through the Christian shit. Here we go.
5:1 Luke 19, where the master gave the servants all the trust. He said, "You guys be stewards of this till I get back." Came back, one guy hadn't done anything with it. He's the guy who got in trouble. You see, God says, "Hey, I've created this government, and over here in America, I've given you a system of self-government. Now, I'm giving you the government. I'm giving you a vote. You guys take care of it till I get back." Luke 19:13. You occupy.
Where did he go?
He comes back. What'd you do?
Why 1913? Wait, I'm confused. Why 1913?
No, I just find it interesting. Like, I've given you the government. You guys go ahead and take care of this until I get back. That sounds like God saying, "Hold my beer." You know?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. If God is gone and we're waiting for him to come back, where is he? Is he off fighting Lord Xenu somewhere? Is he? What is more fucking important? Oh wait, those other alien races he created. That's right.
I thought he was omnipresent, omnipotent,
omnibenevolent.
Benevolent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient. That was what I'm looking for.
Omniscient. He is. He just doesn't care.
Well,
that's
then
what
he didn't give us this government.
Yeah. Because how can you be omnipotent and not care?
And if the vote really wasn't going your way, God, couldn't you change it? I mean, you could.
Yeah,
you could very easily go, boop, and I've changed it right there. Michelle Bachmann had a video. Thankfully, I'm not playing for you guys today, where she talks about at this time during the election when Trump and Clinton were going at each other, this is God's hand right here where the graph like swapped, between like, they were running parallels and everything where like one person was winning and then all of a sudden it swapped and it went to the other way. And it's like, that's how a 50-50 chart works, you fucking idiot. Of course it's going to dip down like that when someone starts losing.
Hillary's a Christian. She's a good Christian. She's done Bible class.
She's a Lutheran. Ugh.
Oh, she's the wrong kind of Christian. I get it.
She's not the.
She was also a radical feminist and civil rights activist. Like,
how dare she wants a job outside the house? Ew.
She wouldn't even take her husband's name at first.
Yeah, that's my wife.
Hey, that was me. I never took my ex-husband's name.
You look for Mrs. X, you're not gonna find it. Nope.
Good. Hey, Kyle, I feel like you know that story too.
Oh yeah, I do. We have a bit of a story behind that for another time.
No, but like, she was. But she's a good Christian in her interpretation. Like, she's a true believing Christian. Like, a good Christian I don't really give a shit about because for me it's like all.
Why can't I get a speaking tour like David Barton? Why can't I just go out there and say just nonsense bullshit? I honestly need to stop listening to my morality and my conscience and just start duping the fuck out of people. I'm going to become a hard right Christian because I'll have an
prosperity gospel.
I'll have an interesting story to tell them how I was an atheist, an anti-theist. I hated God, and all of a sudden I became a Christian.
Prosperity gospel.
I will make so much fucking money. So much money. Money. And in my secret life, I'm not a Christian. Fuck your God.
We've dug into this so much that it would be so easy. We know all the beats and the talking points, it'd be so easy.
But like, I'd hate myself. Like,
I
quit a dog. I quit a doggy daycare because I watched a guy kick a dog. Like, one dog. And yes, I still feel sick about that. And no, it's not okay.
I quit Toys R Us after one day of work.
Like I saw, like I watched the owner kick a dog, and I was like, I'm out. Like I couldn't do it, you guys. Like I couldn't do it. Like one kid like tries to kill themselves, not even successful, and I couldn't live with myself. Okay, moving on. That was depressing.
Yeah, David Barton. Yeah, back to
you know what's
David
neat?
Barton.
Boobs. Boobs are neat. Yeah.
The one that decided.
I haven't seen boobs in a long time. I miss boobs. I need boobs in my life. Actually, if you watch Westworld, you get a lot of boobs.
A lot of boobs.
And a lot of dick, too. There's a lot of dick.
Like, no erect dick, though.
Yeah, but that one black guy's flaccid one was like, wow.
That's slightly terrifying to me, so it doesn't do anything.
Yeah, that's true. We heard your story about that before on a patron show. So donate, and you guys can hear all the wonderful stories that we tell other people.
Oh, God, we have one listener.
Here we go.
Not to do anything with the stewardship they had been given. See, that's not an option. You don't have a right to vote. We get this wrong in schools.
It pans to the audience and nothing but white people.
It's a duty to vote. And because we used to teach it, we had the first elections in America in 1619. I can show you that for over 2 centuries,
1619?
we had 100% voter turnout in America.
No,
because we taught that this is.
Wait, are you talking about the white landowning men?
It's not
the
your
only
vote.
people.
You have to do something with it. You have to be a good steward of it. And that's where righteousness exalts.
Ugh, okay, I'm done with him. I can't listen to this shit anymore. I don't think there's ever been an election in American history, unless it was like an election. Kyle, you're muted. Unless there was like 6 people voting, and all of a sudden all 6 people showed up to vote. Yeah, that's 100%.
Yeah, no, like in the very first elections that ever took place in this country, yeah, it's entirely possible that there was 100% turnout, but that was a very small population.
If you're talking like governors of the colonies coming together to have Congress,
right? That was very small because you had to, like, the first votes in the country took place during like the Constitutional Congress.
White men,
the
white
convention,
landowning men.
the Constitutional Convention.
Wealthy white landowning men were the only ones who got to vote.
Right.
That's.
It was not
1% of the population. That's not even. That's 0.5% of the population currently. Like you get 100% voter turnout for that, and I mean it's not going to happen. First of all, second of all, okay, it's not like they had to miss work to go vote.
No.
David Barton is a lying fuckhead. Yep.
He's definitely lying. He's definitely
because he thinks that happened in the 1600s too.
I would. What you said? 1916 was the first election.
No, 16 something.
Oh,
yeah.
My phone just broke and was like it made it more realistic. It was definitely not the 16. No. Unless he's talking about the colonies, and then it would have been like 12 dudes, and that would have been specific colonies, and that's just the most retarded. And how? Just fine. Like they would have been required to be there, and they would have been Puritans, and they would have been shitty anyways, and half their colony would have died, and the other half of that remaining would have defected to the Native Americans. No, it's
so looking into
it's fine.
Bringing this up, we had a population in 1625 in the American colonies of 1,980 people. 1,980. It's not completely unbelievable that this could be a 100% voting kind of thing. I might be able to concede that. But you're talking about voting in a small buildings worth of people versus.
Hold on. I'm sorry. Right. I gotta step in here. Ugh. No, we didn't have 1,980 people. We had 1,980 white people because we weren't counting the natives who owned this place.
Well, they had no. Right. They had no. They had no belief of ownership back then. Because they figured everybody could use it. How about that?
Well, they did have a sense of ownership, but they also had a sense of
this is like, for everybody.
Yeah. And also, we stole our particular system of democracy from the 5 noble tribes. Like that's what we call it, or Yeah, like noble savages, or I can't remember what it was called, but it was something like they were like good savages. We stole our form of democracy from them.
I'm an Indian outlaw, half Cherokee and Choctaw.
Like it's a Choctaw was one of them. Cherokee
was terrible fucking country music songs. So
yeah.
Okay, so the population in 1625 was 1980. Do you guys want to guess how many slaves were imported into colonial America between 1620 and 1700? Any guesses?
Bet they
quite a bit more than that.
21,000.
Oh shit! They outnumber the white people. What
and back then they had the 3/5 clause, you know. So, but that went to the landowner, not the slave themselves. So,
so
David Barton,
yeah,
seriously,
David Barton would use that excuse as like, well, see, black people can't be trusted to vote, and I feel sick. Just like
I wouldn't want to go to something that David Barton is doing like that, where you're actually having to talk, like have him just talk at you. I would love to have an interaction with him and just like interrupt you, like, excuse me.
That's not accurate.
What does God need with the starship?
What does God need with an election?
Favorite line of that movie.
What does God need with the sports team?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, we're going to move on to the last Pat Robertson, so give us 1 second. Okay, last one that we have here is, like I said, Pat Robertson. And he's talking to the same no-name person of color, which, you know, could be racist on my part that I'm not looking up this guy, but I'm willing to concede that. But no, because this guy is racist as fuck. Anyway, that's weird, Felicia. You got a fly in that room, and I keep seeing it going past the camera.
I know. It's driving...
Why do we have flies in mid-November? This
because
is not right.
Global climate change is a hoax perpetrated by the Chinese. I definitely didn't catch the fly.
No.
Damn it. Chinese flies.
Mid-November, people, in Utah, and it's like 70 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
Global warming.
I am wearing a sundress. I didn't wear a jacket today. I'm wearing a sundress.
It was beautiful today. But the fact is, that horrifies me because it's mid-November.
Yeah, it's slightly terrible.
Okay, so anyway, like I said, Pat Robertson, random black guy. Here we go.
You know, blacks don't need anybody to kill them anymore because the left, through Planned Parenthood, has been trying to slow down the birth rate of what he's calling
eugenics. Fuck you.
Oh!
The left. Let's blame the left for everything. When is the left, and I'm blaming the left here, when are we going to grow a set of balls and play the same fucking game these people do? When are we going to, like, we do it on this show because we're angry as fuck lefties. But the thing is, when is mainstream, liberal America going to stop munching granola and be like, fuck you, right wing, fuck you. We're going to stand up for this shit.
God, because we have this obsession with the high road.
No, we need to wallow in pig shit like the right does, because honestly, that gets results.
Yeah, it does. No, it actually works.
It really does. It works. Because that's all America knows.
My campaign did an experiment. We did like a scientific experiment, and it's negative that works.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So next time Hillary, I'm not blaming the Hillary campaign, but her advisors that said, when they go low, we go high, whatever the fuck it was.
And they believe that those people are non-producers. They should not be alive. And they did it by playing on a wound. And the wound was slavery. And they told women, you can make choice over your own body. You got to stop letting people decide for you if you should have the babies or not.
Yes! Yes, you nailed it. There it is. Yes, black women, you get to make choices over your own body, and nobody gets to tell you what to do with it otherwise. There, you said the right thing.
But the right, their head explodes by the fact that the person who set up Planned Parenthood was a eugenics supporter.
And she was.
Yeah.
Be like, we've moved past that.
She also was a big civil rights activist.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, I don't see people stop eating cornflakes because of Kellogg. I don't see anybody.
Kellogg was
cutting
crazy.
Up baby dicks.
Yeah, go watch The Road to Wellville. And
oh
more
my God.
homework for you guys out there. Kellogg was fucking insane.
Cutting up. He wanted to burn off girls' clitorises with acid.
Yeah, he was for FGM and MGM because that kept you from masturbating, and that was a bad thing according to him. You should eat more cornflakes. Which I'm not gonna lie, I fucking love cornflakes.
I don't eat cereal anymore. It's just too risky with the sugar.
Yeah. Regular ass cornflakes with a little bit of little tiny bit of sprinkle on the sugar and some milk. Love that shit.
We played into that.
Well, Margaret Sanger was the head. She wanted
Here we
a
go.
black
Sorry.
Christian
I jumped
leader
ahead.
to be like a Judas goat to lead the blacks to genocide.
A Judas
You remember
goat?
that?
Yes.
And see, they picked Martin Luther
Wait,
King.
is he talking about that movie? The Vivitch?
The
Vivitch?
Vivitch?
The Vivitch? with what was the goat's name? The Black Samuel?
And I've been watching a lot of Harry Potter, so I keep thinking, I'm like, can you get a Bezoar from the goat's stomach? Because Ron's gonna need that to cure that potion that he drank from Slugworth's.
Do you think
Slughorn.
Do they is there a magic spell that just goes fetus goodbyes and it's
Asshole Disaparo. There we go.
Yes.
This person, you remember?
And before that, W.E.B. Du Bois.
Yeah.
And this woman, she was the one that really substantiated and validated what was under Charles Darwin's book, Origin of Species. The
Okay.
subtitle.
Stop it.
Wrong. Wrong.
Charles
Wrong.
Darwin's book was
Wrong.
used badly.
Wrong.
Yeah.
Wrong.
So very, very wrong. Yes.
Wrong.
Origin of Species had nothing to do with black people.
No, it did not.
And interestingly enough,
No.
I actually have a picture I got from Imgur earlier tonight from a Reddit article that I was reading, where they were talking about a Pakistani biology book, and it has facts about the creation of living organisms. This is a textbook in English, but just listen to this. This is amazing. The theory of evolution, as proposed by Charles Darwin in the 19th century, is one of the most unbelievable and irrational claims in history.
You know what? No, stop there. It's not irrational, but it is incredible. It's an incredible claim.
It is a
it is
mind-blowing fucking theory that he came
It
up
is
with.
a massive claim.
Yeah, it is.
It's been backed up by mountains. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. And holy fuck balls, we have it.
Well, the amazing thing is that, even Darwin's like, I don't want this to be the truth. I don't want this to be the thing. I would rather live in what I've always thought the world was.
Right. Well, and it wasn't even necessarily that it wasn't even necessarily that he didn't want it to be true. It was more that he came to some conclusions that he himself could not support with the current amount of information and evidence that was available at the time.
He came up with a hypothesis, and he said, I have reason to believe in this hypothesis, but I can't show the mechanism. And boop-a-doop-a-doop, along comes Mendel with his pea pods, proves genetics. At the same time, separate. He was not even aware of Darwin.
Right.
I've always loved that about science, that it's something where you after the fact you're like, well, fucking of course.
Right.
But
and
prior to that,
and at the time that Darwin came up with this, the field of geologic chemistry didn't even exist.
Right.
So
but now we have
there wasn't even a way for them to determine the approximate age of the Earth.
Oh,
so
my
one of the
God,
big
do
problems,
I hate it when people talk about fucking carbon dating and how it's wrong and They do. That's not what they do.
That's not even close to what they do. But at the time, he had with his theories and what he was finding, he couldn't reconcile it with how much time it would take, because he didn't have a concept of how old the Earth or the universe was.
You remember
that was one of these big things.
Remember how
not to mention the lack of fossil record at that time.
Remember earlier in the show when I was talking about family members being mad at me for, spouting truth?
Right.
We went to get family pictures done today. And at this, we went to the botanical gardens here in Ogden, and it's nice out there. It's really nice, but they're working on making it more pretty. And they had these beautiful, sandstone I'm sorry. Yeah, sandstone rocks that they had been getting ready to like place and stuff. So it's like it's in a hopper ready for them to put it into wherever it needs to go.
Right.
And so you have all of these beautiful layers, layer after layer of different sediment and stuff like that. And so I'm talking to the family members. I'm like, man, could you? I see this sandstone, and I'm like, man, just look at the layers there. That's fucking amazing. How long it took for those layers to show up there, and we're just taking it as for granted. We're using it as decoration, but I'm looking at it and I'm like going, how many millions of years of shit had to settle and be compressed for this to actually happen?
Oh, if these rocks could tell stories.
Oh, and man, like they're like, yeah, no, that's kind of pretty. And I'm like, you guys just
don't
conceded.
understand.
You just conceded that your Christianity is fucking stupid because your Christianity, for it to work, would take 6,000 years.
God would have literally.
Yeah, exactly. My rocks prove your Christianity wrong.
One rabbit in the Precambrian layers of any. I know I've said it. I'm going to keep using it
so many times.
I'm going to keep using it. One fucking rabbit in any Precambrian layer. It's done. We're done.
Collect your Nobel Prize. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200.
Like that's it. No, collect your collect all
your 90,000 or whatever the fuck it is nowadays. It's a lot.
just find one rabbit. One. It doesn't even be a rabbit. A seashell.
Exactly. All right, let's finish up here.
That book was The Preservation of Favored Races and the Struggle for Life. That book was about eugenics.
No, it wasn't.
And this woman through Planned Parenthood slowed down the birth rate of what they call the dysgenics.
The dysgenics.
Matter of fact, this particular candidate, this woman,
Pat, you believe anything?
Used that term while she's been running for election because I said, where did she get that from? Well, she had to have gotten that from this idea of eugenics.
I've never heard that. She talked about the deplorables, but she talked about dysgenics.
The dysgenics.
She used that term?
She certainly did. And
no,
this is
she did
easily
not.
findable. That's why I said she must understand what many blacks don't understand. That, like, just recently she was on with Jay-Z, did a concert.
Yeah.
Sorry, I finally got the guy's name. It's Wellington Boone.
Oh.
That's a stage name if I've ever heard one in my fucking life.
It has to be.
Well, shit, I go by X. I mean, what the fuck do you expect there?
This guy was cursing and saying all kind of F-bombs and
because that
B's and
automatically
W's.
makes your
and
argument
she gets up there and she says, we're all unified. I said, woman, give me two sentences of his lyrics that you know about. You're not for those people. You're using those people.
I don't know where that devolved to. I honestly don't.
I don't either. But
you know how many times my arguments have been like, they're like, you used a swear, you lose. I'm like, oh,
fuck you.
Naughty words. Are you an adult? Grow the fuck up.
My kids, Kyle, maybe you can agree with me here, but your kids hear what Americans quote as naughty language, right?
Oh, yes.
They're not adverse to hearing a fuck, a damn, a shit, something like that.
Oh yeah, no, I hear it coming from my kids too, particularly when they're playing their video games in their bedrooms, and I hear my son go, "Fucking damn it!"
See, and I'm not adverse because
and I just pretend I didn't hear that. He's alone in his room. I'm not gonna make a big deal out of that,
right?
Because he doesn't say it at school. He doesn't say it around his friends.
Exactly.
I'm okay.
My point is that when that happens, I tell my kids, look, there's appropriate speech for certain areas.
Right.
Like and I would rather have my kids learn how to use cuss words when they're younger as opposed to me playing catch up at 13 or 14.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you guys grew up with I had really oppressive religious parents growing up. And so like me learning cuss words was like, I'm 13, my parents aren't around, I'm in junior high, and be like, well, fuck shit. God goddamn shit, fucking asshole. You know, it's like I was just trying to learn, and I'm making a terrible example because it's hard to misuse cuss words now.
It is, yeah, because it's just inherent now. But well, I've got a great example of like
shit
my
fuck. There you go.
Shit fuck. I've actually said that, like, genuinely,
but not as an like not as a
literal.
like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No. Ew.
Nope.
I'm not one to judge many kinks, but shit fuckery is one that I'm like, no, I don't get it. Nope.
I don't get it. I'm out. Incest is another one. Out.
Yeah. No.
Berries. So I was out in the backyard.
I love how you call it.
I know. I get to call it. That's right. Queen of blueberries here. I was out in the backyard with a certain 4-year-old recently, and the dog ran out through the hole in the fence. And I called him back and I'm like, shithead. And I turn to the 4-year-old and I go, don't say that. And he goes, I didn't say shithead. And I go, no, dude, you can't even say it back to me. Why not? And I go, because some people get really upset when kids swear. Like, I don't, but you can't. Because some people get upset. I'm not your parent.
Yeah. My wife took
say it again.
my oldest to go shopping the other day at Target, and that's just one of my wife's like favorite places to shop. And she took my oldest, and she found a sweater that she really liked, and she's like, "Damn!" Like the sweater that she found, and she's like, "What are you doing? You're not supposed to say that out loud in the middle of shopping and stuff." She's like, "But I really like the sweater." So it's just amazing that I'm like, okay, well, that's kind of inappropriate for the usage. We'll work on that, you know.
Yeah, sweaters don't get a damn.
I'm not the kind of parent where I tell my kids,
if they're really cool, they do.
I'm not the kind of parent where I tell a kid, look, this is a naughty word. There's no such thing in my family. There's no such thing as a naughty word in my family. There's an inappropriate place to use this word. You know, I've studied way too much Japanese culture to know that, like, you don't say something's bad, because there's honestly no such thing as a bad word. There's just a wrong time to use it. And that comes from me being a student of language kind of thing. I don't know why I went to Japanese, but
yes, there's wrong time. There's a wrong time. There's a wrong place. There's a wrong audience.
Yes, indeed. And I tell my kids all the time, I'm like, look, you go to school out here. I'm not going to say where, but you go to school out here where cows are the major population, you know. So you using words like that would probably be something that people would be like, clutching at their pearls, going, "Oh my goodness, this kid is saying such terrible language." And be like, for me, I'm like, I'm proud of you, kid. That's the appropriate time to use that. That's a great time to use that.
Well, this 4-year-old, when he responded back, I didn't say shithead. He was right. Like, until he said it, like, and he didn't, like, he just said it like it was any other word. And I'm like, yeah, no, get it, dude.
Okay.
I'm waiting for the Jay and Silent Bob moment where my kid says, fuck, motherfucking fuck.
I was actually surprised with my non-plusness. Like, his, like, said shithead to me, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not, it doesn't really sound wrong coming from you. Like, especially in the context of the sentence, right? He's like, but I didn't say shit. He's like, I hadn't already said it. Why are you telling me not to say it, right? And like, and obviously he was using it because I just told him not to.
Yeah.
It's just amazing that Pat Robertson needs to say, like, his guest needs to say, oh, they were dropping bombs all over the place. Be like, there's a perfectly appropriate time and place for anybody to say the word fuck. That is the most versatile word in the American English dictionary.
Oh, yeah.
Great.
It is.
We use it,
and there's nothing wrong with it. And I would
all the fucking
and I would
time.
I would also really love, and this is never going to happen, but I would love for Hillary Clinton to take him up on his challenge. Because I can almost guarantee you that she could do several of his songs line for line.
That'd be funny.
She does carry hot sauce in her bag.
Yes, she does.
She actually is a big fan of hot sauce. Like, that wasn't pandering. Like, I think we called her out on that show as pandering, but like, I looked into it. No, she's been a big fan of hot sauce for a long time.
I
point.
would never call anybody out on carrying hot sauce as pandering at all. Ever.
I've found it in my repertoire of things that I do, which is to most people be like, that's fucking weird, X. What the fuck are you doing? Like anytime I find out I'm going to like a pizza place, I will bring like my Carolina Reaper powder with me because I need hot shit on my pizza because like most food nowadays, I'm like, oh, this is yummy. But it's missing that one key thing, which is a kick in the fucking mouth. That's what I really need. And so I found myself going to a pizza place, not pizza pie, pizza pie cafe. Ugh, that place is terrible. Don't go there. Don't ever go there. Sadly, my kids like that place. But... Shit, what were we talking about? We're talking about Pat Robertson and everything. Anyway, we're done with that. We're done with that. We're going to go ahead and jump off of Fun with Real Audio. So hopefully you guys enjoyed what you guys got this week. We're not doing more. That's 3. 3, we're done. We did 2 last week. We did 3 this week. We're done. We're going to jump into our rants, and we're going to call it quits because we have one last thing to do, which is the patron show. So anyway, Utah Outcasts. This is Kyle, X, Felicia. We'll be right back. Okay, we're back, and it's time for rants, and I'm going to start it off tonight. I don't know if Kyle or Felicia has anything they want to bring up, but you have a rant from X tonight, so this is what it is. This is how it goes. The closet is real, folks, and it's deep as fucking depressing. Nearly everyone living right now has been in the closet in one form or another. Especially people in the LGBT community know exactly what I'm talking about and exactly what it's like. Atheists also know exactly what it's like. It's no fun, and to be completely honest, it's not something I suggest people live with at all. So please, by all means, come out of the closet as soon as it's safe for you to do so. Don't marginalize others that are in the process of escaping, and for the love of Crom, please have a little bit of empathy, because it sucks. Now, onto the turn. So, I can't let it just slide like that. So, in this election season, I've been witness to many people putting themselves into the closet. Not minorities, not less fortunate people. I'm talking about conservatives that are racist and sexist and that are xenophobic. And there's lots of people out there that say like, oh, well, all of you guys on the left are saying this. Yeah, you voted in Trump. He ran on fucking sexist, racist, xenophobic fucking platform. Hell, I bet that there are many people who claim to be progressives that are the same way, but for some reason, they pulled the lever for Donald Trump in the voting booth. This is a man who personifies all of these three things that are traits. Oh, fuck. God damn it. Let me stop. Hang on. This is a man who personifies all 3 of those traits. A 70-year-old bully who, even after becoming president-elect, continues to be an asshole to everyone and everything opposing him. I saw on Twitter today where he's like, oh, you guys that are having problems with me winning the election, let's go ahead. If you're protesting me, you're automatically wrong. So, his wonderful speech about him healing divisions, smokescreen. Him saying that he would come to Washington to change things, yet another smokescreen. The majority of his voters knew exactly what they were voting for. I'm speaking specifically about those who claim one way and then vote in opposition to that. Simply look at the polls running into the election. Hillary had him red-assed beat. This, of course, is according to people who in exit polls said that, oh yeah, of course I'm going to be voting for Hillary. Of course, yeah, why wouldn't I vote for Hillary? I'm not going to vote for Trump. Nobody will vote for Trump. That's where the lie happened here. Too many people have decided that they're going to lie to everybody in the world by saying like, hashtag never Trump, hashtag I'm with her, or anything of the sort. And then at the same time, when they go into the voting booth, they vote for Donald Trump. These are people who have put themselves into a closet of sorts. I'm not going to say the closet because we all know that the closet is how you escape not being who you truly are. This is the closet where people are putting themselves into because they claim that they are one way, while in the meantime being something completely different. These are the people that are racist. These are the people that are supportive of the KKK. These are the people that are supportive of Donald fucking Trump, even though every single one of them said, oh, there's no way I could vote for that guy. I know personally at my job, there is a guy that said, there's no way in hell that I could possibly vote for Donald Trump. Yet for some reason, he won Utah with amazing fucking numbers. Does that not strike anybody else as exceedingly hypocritical at all? These people that claim to have a truth claim, the ones that say that, you know, we are of this certain tribe of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints that think that all women are equal, all women deserve respect, and all women deserve this or that and the other thing. Yet, more than 60% of this fucking state voted for Donald Trump. Put yourself in the closet much there, people? You know, honestly, I wish you guys would come out with this. I wish you would come out of the closet and say, yes, I am a racist. Yes, I am a sexist. Yes, I am old as fuck, and I wish the country would go back to being the way it was before them darkies were able to vote for people. Yes, I wish the faggots would be able to go back into their closet. Yes, I wish those people that think that they're women when they're actually men that just disgust me would go away. I want them to come out with this shit. I want them to be public with this stuff. I want to be able to point at whoever it is that's saying this shit and be like, I can't wait till you fucking die. Only then, when people are completely honest with themselves, will we be able to say that this country is going to be able to improve. When I look at the election map and I see that millennials, 90% of them in this United States voted for Hillary Clinton. When I see that the only holdout states are piece of shit garbage states like Idaho or fucking Montana. When I see that stuff, it gives me hope. Because I understand that, you know, it takes a long time for good ideas to reach the old and the infirmed. I can't wait for the fucking baby boomer generation to die. Because only then will we finally be able to make fucking progress as a country. And be able to assume the fucking role of being the best nation on the planet. It's just sad that it's going to take so much goddamn time, work, and energy for us to block the shit that Trump's going to put out, the shit that Pence is going to be putting out. Everything that all of these alt-right assholes are going to be cheering for. Because it doesn't affect them. It doesn't affect the alt-right. It doesn't affect the privileged white, male, cisgendered fucking people of the world out there. It doesn't affect you. Oh, yeah, it doesn't bother me at all. I'm going to send those Mexicans back to America, back to South America, because that's how we do things. Come the fuck out of the closet and be brave about what the fuck you believe. Otherwise, get the fuck out of our way and let progress take over. End rant.
Good rant.
Good rant.
I'm spent. And I wish I had a couple of less drinks in me, otherwise I wouldn't have stumbled as much. But anyway, that's how we do on Utah Outcasts. Yay! This is our team because the week fucking sucks.
It does. It absolutely does.
What about you guys? You have anything you want to add to it, or?
Oh no, I'm gonna save mine for next week because I need to perfect this.
Yeah, and I'm gonna have to transcribe a lot of that. God damn
it. Yeah, I've got to. Yeah, no, I don't have anything right now.
Okay, so that's gonna do it for this week's episode. We're out to go record the Utah Outcast Secret Patron Show, which I know a lot of you are checking out. I need to change the scripting on this. God damn it, X. What are you doing, man? Anyway, check us out, patreon.com/Utah Outcast. If you want to contribute, $1 will get you anything that's in our 6-month-old catalog of stuff that we have out there. We do all sorts of other stuff. We have the Atheist Illusion that we did the whole show of, which was like an hour.
Oh, Jesus.
It was like 100 minutes of movie, which was
painful.
God, it was painful.
Rough. Oh.
Let's see. I still want to do the Ray Comfort episode. I don't know if I'll probably just record. I'll read off of Wikipedia and record some shit. Maybe that'll work. Let's see. What else? We've decided that we're going to keep doing the special episodes. We'll be doing much more Patreon stuff in the future. So let us know what you want to hear about. But anyway, get in touch with us through our social media empire, through comments on YouTube, voicemail, text, and email. Anyway, thanks to Felicia, thanks to Kyle for joining me this week. But sadly, this is the part where we must say to you guys that the Outcast will catch you again next week with a brand new episode. But until then, you're welcome.
Bonne nuit.
Good night, everybody.